Hi, everyone. My name is Dawn Brolin. I'm a certified public accountant, certified fraud examiner, the president of Powerful Accounting Inc., and the author of the Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about a new application that I found. Actually, it's a hosting solution called Swissnet. And what's awesome about it is if you're somebody who's looking to continue working in a desktop environment, but you want to be able to work securely from anywhere and have your clients also have access to that data file, Swissnet is a great resource for you. Now, one of the key things that I always tell people is when it comes to a hosting solution, the number one thing is that they're extremely secure. So we have that solved with Swissnet. But not only that, but the support that they can give you as you go through your day or through your year, we need to be able to have that access to support. And the great thing about Swissnet is 24/7. If you're working on the weekends, you're checking in at night, and you have an issue for whatever reason, either logging in or an application isn't working properly within the hosting solution site, they're there to help support you. So if you have not figured out that having a hosting solution is absolutely critical to your success when it comes to your tech stack, now's the time. Check out Swissnet, swissnet.com. Thanks so much for listening. Keep your data secure. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DM Disruption. I'm here today with one of my favorite apps ever and my favorite people ever, Jason Richelson with Bookkeep. And I'll tell you what, we're here today to give you the message that this app is out there fighting for our lives. We as the accounting professionals. And I would take it even a step further to say that they are out there trying to service and fight for small business, because small businesses are the ones who are using or need to be using apps like Bookkeep to automate their bookkeeping in a way, number one, it's accurate, and number two, that we get the books done, we get them done right so we can service more people. So Jason, thank you so much for coming today. Introduce yourself so people know who the heck you are, because everyone needs to know you.
Yeah. I'm Jason. I started Bookkeep about 4 years ago as a bookkeeping and accounting firm. And we actually still have 50 clients and we have 3 full-time bookkeepers on staff. But as part of that bookkeeping and accounting that we did, I started automating a lot of the work that didn't need to be done manually. And through that effort, we ended up launching apps in the QuickBooks App Store, which help you automate your sales reporting and your deposit reconciliation, which is something that is still done manually and usually incorrectly by, I would say, at least half the accounting teams out there, even in big companies.
Yes, and I will tell you, I'll give you a great example, because today I was working on a tax return and I'm looking at the balance sheet and I'm like, this isn't right. Now I have been held up.
Yeah.
I have to stop. I have to, and like you're saying, there are so many people who are still doing things manually, or what's even worse, I think, is that they are trying to automate, but the solutions they're choosing are
Right.
not ideal. And
Yeah.
so the information isn't coming in correctly. And
Yeah.
that's where we always say, well, why would Intuit put an app on their site that if their
Mhm.
integration really isn't that good? Well, I would love to know the answer to that, but I can tell you Bookkeep has it nailed because I use them with clients. And it's really about, it's year end and we're trying to get books done so we can get tax returns done. So instead of just rushing through the process, stop for a minute and say, hey,
Right.
is there something out there that can help me? And Bookkeep is one of them.
Yeah, we do proper accrual accounting. If you're in retail, restaurant, e-commerce, even donations. There's a bunch of industries as well. Ticketing. You need to do proper accounting entries when payments are received. So leave ticketing aside because that's a little different. But we post proper daily sales summaries on the day they happen and help you reconcile the payment deposits. And when you think of why this is so important, if you're just using Square, our app works very well, better than the QuickBooks one, because our app takes the full summary and puts it into QuickBooks, and then we match the deposits when they come as well. That's pretty simple. But when you think about something like a Shopify store, and where they're also selling on Amazon Seller, but also on Shopify, they're taking Sezzle and they're taking Shopify installments, of course, because you have no option. It just happens. As well as a bunch of other payment types that are your opportunities that you can use on Shopify. You really need to have that full summary of the whole day posted, and then those payment deposits are going to come in. So you need to have that balance reconciled and synced to Shopify or whatever payment system is. So you want your Sezzle balance in QuickBooks to match what Sezzle is going to pay you, including the fees, or net of the fees, so that when that deposit comes in, we can match it up and your balance stays in sync in QuickBooks to Sezzle. If you're using Shopify installments, the same. If you're using Shopify payments, Amazon seller, you probably also have PayPal. You probably also have Stripe. You might also have Venmo. And all of these balances are money that you have, like your bank account balance, like your credit card balance. You must keep those in sync. It's part of your job as a bookkeeper. But there's up until now not been any automation that lets you do that. So, and as apps keep coming up with new ways to take payments, new ways to sell, you can sell on Facebook, you can sell on Instagram, you can sell on TikTok. The complexity for the what I call the voiceless bookkeeper and accountant who have no say in it. Your client's selling on TikTok. Great. That's another deposit in the checking account that I have to figure out what are the fees, so we don't automate that yet, but we want to basically automate all of that, just like your banking feed. So you can just connect all these apps. We will post the proper accounting entries. We will match it to the deposits and make sure that your books are accurate so you can close those books days after the month is ended.
Right. And so one of the things that I know that I get really frustrated with is people tend to accept the bank feeds in QuickBooks as the Bible, right? So that we got the bank feeds. We don't have to even, what do we need this app for? We can get it all through the bank feeds. Well, you're not getting the right numbers through the bank feeds. And of course, one of those big things is sales tax return. The sales tax returns are not being prepared correctly because the reports coming out of QuickBooks are not. We don't have gross sales. We have net sales. And that's not okay. You're setting someone up for failure in the event of an audit.
Exactly. And I, until I met you, I didn't even know that about that potential issue. I know that you're not paying your sales tax right. Yes, audit. There's IRS audits, but there's also sales tax audits. I do think, I work with so many accountants and bookkeepers. I see so many books, and even I work with companies that are doing millions and millions of dollars a year in sales. And it always, I just can't believe that so many accountants and bookkeepers still take that deposit and post it to income. That is completely wrong.
Yes.
You cannot, you could do that many years ago when your credit card deposits were like the only thing you got and they were gross. It was exactly totaled and it didn't have fees taken out. But those deposits include sales tax and tips. So still you can't book it to income unless you know what those are. Now those deposits include sales tax and tips, but they then take out the fees. If you're on Square, they're taking out your loans. If you're on Square, they're also potentially taking out a savings amount that you might have, as well as any debit card transactions from that balance. So the world has changed. And if people start using these debit cards on their payment balance, like Square, PayPal's had that, we know, and a lot of bookkeepers are like, I won't touch PayPal. But now Square is going to become the same thing. Shopify is going to become the same thing with their debit card. And so anyway, our system will help you automate that so that your balances stay in sync and you don't really, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. And so I think, part of our conversation today, I think the biggest message to the accountants are, hey, listen, and you've had businesses in the past. I think that makes a big difference too. You've had businesses in the past. I mean, you have businesses still, but I'm saying, you've had retail. You've had to deal with retail, and you're dealing with this whole process of the bookkeeping when you were looking likely to an accountant to solve the problem, and they couldn't solve the problem. So if they could, it was expensive.
Yeah.
So you've created a tool that we, the accountants, can use to help our small businesses. And I think that that's one of the pieces. Sometimes we as accountants have to understand, like, yes, it's about us, right? We want everything to be about us, right?
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, it's you properly being a trusted advisor and using tools that ensure that the books are correct. And we talked about that a little bit before we started the session today, but come on, man, do the books right. I mean, I don't even like doing bookkeeping anymore because I'm not good at it.
Right.
So I'm just focused enough to do it. So, we want to be able to have these tools, and this is what you're providing. And let's talk about how, that advocating with companies. saying, hey, listen, we need this done this way because of this. And they don't care most of the time,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's where, we have about 25, maybe a few more connectors. So, Sezzle, Shopify, Square, Stripe, PayPal, Amazon Seller. We got a bunch of them, and then some cannabis point of sales, a bunch of different apps. The ones that we want are like an Uber Eats or a DoorDash. We do have a Grubhub connector, but it works, but it doesn't work as well as we want. But the reason that we don't is because those sales apps don't provide access to the data in an automated fashion. So, and as a bookkeeper, I mean, I know, why do you book those deposits? Say you get a deposit from Uber Eats. Why do you just book it to income? Well, because I don't know what it is. And my owner hasn't given me a login. I've asked him 20 times and I still don't get the login. So what am I supposed to do? Right. And
Right.
honestly, if you had to tell that owner to provision an Uber Eats login so you could log in, you wouldn't be able to explain it, and it's really hard. Actually, I've done it for my own business. So Uber Eats needs to make it easier. Uber Eats is just an example. A lot of these apps, they need to think about the downstream implications of the data that they're creating for accounting purposes. And so I want to help advocate for the whole accounting community. Like, we'll figure out ways, but we're gonna probably start a nonprofit to just sort of advocate for accountants and bookkeepers that, hey, Uber Eats, we need to talk to you about making this data available. It could just be a spreadsheet attachment. Uber Eats, what they do is they send out an email with a link that you have to log back in to download the report. Well, if you don't have a login, that doesn't work anyway. So there's different ways that it can be done. It doesn't always have to be through APIs, but we want to help advocate for that, make the problem known to, because some of them, they just don't know. Uber Eats probably is like, we've never talked to accountants. They never talk to us. They don't buy our software. So we need to make it known that, hey, there's other people involved. There's other stakeholders involved.
Absolutely. And so, as we're having this conversation, if we've just gone through 2021, we're all done, we're getting these we're in contact with the business owners again. Of course, some of them are those, we just see them once a year.
Right.
And I don't prefer that. I would like to see them throughout the year.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was excited about, as these once a year people are coming in, we're able to set them up with this connection between their QBO file and their whatever it is, maybe Square. A lot of people have come in this year. They got new Square accounts. Now, how do you determine if you know they have Square or not? Well, here's a secret. Look at their bank statement. The bank statement's going to say, or even your bank feed that you've been,
Yep.
committed to for, like you're married to it.
Yeah.
So you see that they're some Square transactions. Now it's immediately time to have the conversation, because what's great is Bookkeep can actually go historically and pull in historical data. I think that's a game changer, honestly. The fact that you can pull that historic data.
Yeah, we
And that's
can
something
pull. We ran a bunch of in January. We did a bunch of history as people are trying to catch up on multiple years, and we do. And remember, we don't post transactions. We post accrual summaries on those days. That is how proper accounting is done. Going back 20 years before Silicon Valley thought that transactions and data and more data. If you're a bookkeeper, you would like a perfect little summary of what that day entailed that's going to match to your payment deposit, well, or somewhat match. It doesn't really match anymore exactly, but we do proper summaries, and we can run all the way back, as far in history as you need to go for Square, Shopify, and the others.
And so what that does is you do that one-time connection, and now it's set it and forget it, which we did a webinar last week about that. So set it and forget. You set it up once, you're done. And what's great is if you think about it, and let's talk about making money. All right, I'm pretty sure that everyone's listening enjoys making money. Okay, we're not in business to break even just as much as our clients are. So if you have people, and a lot of people do value pricing on bookkeeping, so they're going to say it's going to be $1,000 a month, $2,000, whatever it may be, and the price may be high because you have had to manually post all this stuff.
Right.
So one of a couple things can happen. One, you can start servicing more clients because you're not spending all your time hunting and pecking.
Right.
That's what I call it, hunting and pecking with your fingers, entering data.
Right.
So instead, you set it and forget it. You now can service more clients. And guess what? No one said you had to lower your price because you're not necessarily doing that manually anymore. So you're going to make more money, the same money, doing less work. And you'll make more money because you're going to be able to bring on, instead of 50 or 100 clients, you're going to have 500 clients. I mean, maybe that's
Yeah.
crazy, but I'm just, as
Right.
somebody who has 3 employees, we are cranking,
Hmm.
cranking on revenue because we're automating.
Right.
That's the answer.
And you
Automation.
get right, and you need good automation. I mean, you can have one app in the App Store that does Square. There's another app that'll do Amazon Seller, and but then you're still managing all these different apps. I mean, what we're trying to do with Bookkeep is in a single location in our app, in a single app, you can do all the settings for all the apps that your clients use. We post proper accrual accounting entries. We post proper entries for the deposits, and you don't have to go to different places. The other thing that saves you time is that, as everyone knows who's done any bookkeeping ever, hey, owner, you changed the password. I need the new password.
Right.
Or, hey, I need you to create a password for me. What do you mean, create a password for me? How do I do that? What? And then they never do it. I mean, even I'm the same. My bookkeeper is the last person that I respond to. I just don't care about what happened in the past. Like, I just don't care. I only think about the future. So I know how difficult it is for accountants and bookkeepers to deal with those things. It really, I think, takes up 20 or 30% of their time. Just like, I need access
Right.
to this data that I just lost access to, or you still haven't given me access to. So we speed that up. We allow you to then have more clients. We hope our pricing is based off of your time savings. It's not based off of what the client's doing. If the client's doing $10 million a year in sales or $1 million, our pricing is the same. It's one summary entry. We charge based on how many summaries and how many different apps you connect. So it's not based on the underlying revenue. So that helps you save money as well, or you can pass it through to your client. But yes, the other thing that I see about the industry in general is there's a lot of very sharp accountants slash bookkeepers who know what they're doing, but
Yep.
there's not enough for all the businesses out there. And there's probably even more unsophisticated bookkeepers and accountants who don't know what they're doing out there. And I mean, every business is looking for that sharp accountant, and there's a lot of them out there, but they can't handle all the business. So those are the ones that we want to help with the automation. And by the way, if you don't know how to do accounting, our automation is going to show you how to do it properly, because we do it properly. Um, so
Exactly.
um, a lot of when I started my first wine store, I had no idea how you ring up sales or keep track of anything. So I bought the Microsoft point of sale system, and I bought Quickbooks. And that's what I learned, how I learned how to do accounting and bookkeep, and point of sale. But they all had proper accounting systems set up, proper Z reports. So you can learn from the software and how to do it. And we hope that you can build a much bigger business off this automation. I mean, we're just getting started. We want to do more over time, but this is a huge time sink in the stuff that we're solving right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jason, any last thoughts that you want to leave with the listeners today?
I just want to, say that, you don't, I think the big thing is that don't be afraid of e-commerce. There's automation tools that can help you do it. And don't be afraid of e-commerce, because then you're going to be out of work. Everything is e-commerce.
Absolutely.
Everything is e-commerce. It doesn't matter if it's a restaurant or a retail store, brick and mortar. They're using online payment systems, and they're probably also selling online. And restaurants, half their business is online sales systems. So you have to learn how to do proper accrual sales summaries for all these systems, match the deposits. There's really no way around it if you want to do it right for your clients. But our tool can help you do it. And it's not that hard to learn. It's pretty simple, keeping track of balances. And I recommend you don't worry about it, and just dive into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a set it and forget it system, you guys. I'm telling you right now, it's made a big difference for us and what we can provide for services to our clients. So let's just, keep the conversation going. We do webinars often. You'll see it on the website. We've got, all kinds of stuff coming up here in the next few months. Some great opportunities at some events like Accounting Web Live, and Scaling New Heights, and Engage, and all these other places. So keep your minds open. That would be my last thought: is keep your minds open to doing it better,
Yep.
doing it accurately, and doing it better, and being the best trusted advisor you can to your clients, which means getting the right tools in place and utilizing them so that the accounting is automated and done, so you can have bigger conversations with them. And I think that those are just a couple things in my thoughts. But thank you so much for coming to the DM Disruption and listening to us today. We look forward to seeing you on some future webinars and some future podcasts. So Jason, thank you so much for coming. Bookkeep, by the way, really nice jersey. Let's go Pittsburgh. We're
Nice.
good with Pittsburgh. So
All right.
thanks again, and talk to you all next time.
Thank you.